With this video, our channel launches a brand new series, The Dark Side of the Animal World. We will talk about the things they never show you in those beautiful nature documentaries, and we will begin with humanity's greatest genetic mistake. Dogs have spent millennia evolving specifically to serve humanity. Wolves have spent millennia evolving to survive completely without us. Two opposite extremes that were never meant to collide. But human vanity and arrogance know absolutely no bounds. Mere obedience was no longer enough. We wanted to conquer and tame the primal wilderness itself, to put an apex predator on a leash, just to stroke our own egos. That is how wolf dogs came to be. A monumental genetic error created purely out of ambition. This is the tragedy of a creature that never asked to be created, and which ultimately found itself caught completely between two worlds. Forget the internet fairy tales about sweet, affectionate, pet wolf dogs. Today we uncover the ugly truth. You will learn exactly why the attempt to merge these species drives the animal to madness, why hybridization projects were massively shut down all around the world, and what really happens when we try to cheat nature. We are now diving deep into a very harsh reality. When people buy a hybrid, they are chasing the myth of the dire wolf. They want an animal that looks like a wild beast, but adores its owner just like a retriever. Many people justify this by claiming that dogs and wolves naturally interbreed in the wild anyway. Yes, they do. But do you know when? Only when humans completely decimate the local wolf population. In a healthy, balanced ecosystem, a wolf pack will never accept a dog. They will instantly reject it, either as a bold competitor or an easy meal. A natural hybrid is literally the child of an ecological disaster. It is born purely out of desperation, when a lone surviving wolf simply has no one else to mate with. But what happens in a breeder's backyard? That is the deliberate mass production of a genetic glitch, all for the sake of profit. The psychology of a wolf and a dog are not puzzle pieces that easily fit together. It is like trying to install the operating system of an apex predator onto the basic hardware of a household pet. The system is bound to crash. A wild wolf's greatest survival tool is neophobia, a primal, paralyzing fear of anything new, which has kept the species alive for millennia. A dog runs to the doorbell, wagging its tail. For a wolf dog, a ringing doorbell sounds like a terrifying alarm. A cramped apartment instantly transforms into a terrifying trap. For first-generation hybrids, or F1s, there is no normal life. There is only a constant, endless survival mode. They are capable of tearing a room down to the bare concrete, not out of aggression, but out of sheer animalistic terror caused by a falling mop or an unfamiliar scent. And when that stress level breaks through the roof, the predator instinct always takes the wheel. And that instinct dictates one simple rule: run away or attack whatever is stopping you from running. But while an F1 is predictably a wild animal, generations F2 and F3 are a game of genetic Russian roulette. Breeders love to advertise them as the safer version, but nature plays dirty. Imagine a hybrid that has inherited a dog's most dangerous trait, an absolute lack of fear towards humans. And from the wolf, it inherits a high prey drive and a devastating bite force. Remove the fear, keep the predator instinct, and lock all of that inside a suburban backyard. That is exactly where the real catastrophes happen. If wolves are so perfectly adapted for survival, why couldn't they be adapted for service? In the mid-20th century, intelligence agencies ran hybridization experiments to create a working animal with a wild predator's instincts. The most famous example is the Czechoslovakian Wolfdog. The idea seemed brilliant: combine a shepherd's loyalty with a wolf's scent, iron stamina, and unbreakable immunity. But this grand project hit one cynical fact: a wolf is too pragmatic to sacrifice itself for human ideals. A service dog is a soldier. It thrives on partnership, working to the limit and following commands. That's its core motivation. A wolfdog is a mercenary who never took an oath. During a high-stakes operation, the hybrid first assesses its own safety. If the risk is too high, it won't push through. It simply disengages. They couldn't be forced to bark. They preferred staying silent to hide their presence. Wild pragmatism beat strict training. The military admitted defeat. You cannot force a predator to march. Today, the Czechoslovakian and Saarloos wolfdogs are recognized breeds. People confuse them with normal pets, but reality is different. Breeding suppressed direct hostility to humans, but preserved the traits of their wild ancestors. An owner expects predictability. Instead, they run into primal genetics, severe separation anxiety, destroying enclosures from boredom, and relentless howling aren't behavioral defects. They are the absolute norm. They aren't meant for city life. These are specialized animals for owners, ready to adapt their entire lives to a complex nature. If military projects failed, and keeping recognized hybrids is so tough, where do those thousands of sweet internet videos come from, showing a massive wolf cuddling with a child on a couch? The answer is simple. It's a lie. In 90% of cases, you're watching a high-quality fake. The American wolfdog market is a vanity conveyor belt. Breeders know a real, high-content hybrid would destroy a house in a week, drowning their business in lawsuits. So, they sell an illusion. For thousands of dollars, people just buy a mix of Husky, Malamute, and German Shepherd. Buyers stroke their egos, believing they've tamed the wild, when they're really just walking a hyperactive, overgrown sled dog. This deception has devastating consequences. Amateurs see these fluffy wolves online and buy a real hybrid. They bring primal genetics home, expecting a docile pet. The trap doesn't snap shut immediately. Disaster strikes around age 2, driven by a biological timer breeders hide, winter wolf syndrome. Upon maturity, their hormones tie directly to nature's rhythms. With the first cold weather, even the most tolerant hybrid drops the mask. A ruthless territorial instinct kicks in. A 6-foot fence isn't a barrier. It's a stepping stone cleared without a running start. Their jaws rip through metal chain link like a tin can. And neighborhood cats and small dogs instantly stop being neighbors. They become moving targets. People believe they can be this animal's alpha. They use dog training tricks, trying to buy trust with treats. But reality strikes back. For a wild animal stressed by the human world, food means nothing. You can't buy survival instincts with dried meat. When coaxing fails, owners lose their nerve. They make a fatal mistake, using force to show who is the boss. A domestic dog submits to this conflict, but for a hybrid, physical pressure isn't a lesson, it's an attack. It defends itself as nature taught it, uncompromisingly, until the threat is eliminated. No warning growl, no chance to back down. This training ends before anyone can dial for help. But the ultimate trap, hidden by breeders, snaps shut beyond your backyard, in the legal field. Legally, a wolfdog isn't a dog. It's a wild predator. Here begins the real veterinary nightmare. Remember, there is no recognized rabies vaccine for wolf hybrids. You can use the most expensive imported meds, but to the state, your animal is unvaccinated. In practice, if a normal dog nips someone, it gets a 10-day home quarantine. But if your tame wolf bites or scratches a person, the system is unforgiving. No quarantines, no sentimentality. The animal is permanently confiscated without trial or appeal. Why? Because wild animals have no live rabies tests. The only definitive test requires brain tissue. The animal will be euthanized, its head removed, and sent to a lab. No blood tests, To guarantee human safety, your pet goes to a pathologist's table for brain extraction. That is the true price of your exotic pet. Don't count on clinics. 90% of vets will close their doors. Their licenses don't cover wild predators. In an emergency, you're entirely alone with an 80-pound, highly dangerous apex predator. No one is allowed to help. By buying a hybrid, you accept these rules. You must be prepared that one dark day, the law will take your friend forever. There are no appeals. How does this experiment end? When fear outweighs vanity, the owner makes a final, cowardly choice. The illusion is discarded. Dog shelters close their doors in horror. Too dangerous, too unpredictable. For an uncontrollable adult hybrid, there is only one ruthless exit. Quiet, unseen euthanasia. It pays with its life simply for following its blood. Blood artificially mixed by man. The wolfdog is a living monument to human arrogance. Watching lit windows through a chain-link fence, he knows he will never truly belong there. And facing the dark forest, he doesn't know the ultimate truth. A wild wolf pack will destroy him on sight. Catching the scent of a dog, not wild, not domestic, forever trapped in the middle. There are far more dark truths ahead. Subscribe to the channel, respect nature, and see you in the next video.